now Versali, chilling in the Fresco Studios. And as you can see, Fresco Studios, I'm sitting with my man Chet today. But look, it's here to get some things, some musical affairs, get some adjustments on some vocals or whatnot. And since we on the road, we did that third pop-up earlier today in Peotry. Couldn't stop that. So while we here doing what we was doing, we gotta seek out who the poet in the house. You know what I mean? So that's what we gonna do. See what we got. What's going on? Back again. We found the poet. I don't know what you're gonna do, but it so happened to be Miss Joanna, the beloved writer Fabio. Fresco Studio. I have no idea what she's gonna do. And I know we be kind of aggressive in our approach, but you know, if you don't have nothing, hey, take a note. But hey, here we are. Miss Joanna, you can introduce yourself or introduce your piece and let us know what you got.
Hello everyone, I am Joanna and I'm not a poet, and this was unexpected, so I have a story that means a lot to me that I would like to share with you guys. So cool. Here it goes. This is about a $50 ring. I was asked what a metaphor for love is for me, and like what object do I look at that defines true love for me? And mine was my engagement ring. I know that's a cliche, but in order to understand why it's a metaphor for love for me, I have to tell the story of how it came into my possession. So around the time that we got engaged, we were kind of actually already engaged before he proposed. This is my dog. His name is Buster. But it was about 6 months before the wedding, and I say that because I had already started planning the wedding, and he had not officially asked me to marry him, so that's why I say that we were already engaged. And everybody was on his case, you know, yo man, what's the hold up, all that stuff. Everybody was like messing with him and everything, and it kind of became a joke. But what I didn't know was that he was actually really struggling to afford a ring for me. So he went to his family with this dilemma, and his dad immediately goes in their bedroom, pulls out this ring and says, use this one. And he said, it's the ring I proposed to your mother with. It would mean a lot to us if you used it. So he gave it to him. 2 days later, he proposed. Obviously, I said yes, because I'm here today. And it was a really great moment. And I was so ecstatic. I wanted to share this moment with his family because I knew that they gave it to him to give to me, so I wanted to really share that moment with them. But when I put it on, it didn't fit. It was entirely too big and it would fall off my finger. So I wanted to go the next day to get it resized and show up for dinner that night and show them what happened and us all celebrate. So I go to this jeweler and I hand it to her. I tell her, you know, hey, I just got engaged. I'm all excited and everything. And I ask her if she can possibly get it sized for me before that night. And I explained to her, you know, I want to show it to my family and everything. And she takes it, she takes out her glass and she looks at it, and then she goes, and hands it back to me. And she goes, honey, that's not real. And I was like, what do you mean it's not real? And she was just like, I don't know where he got it. I don't know how much he paid for it, but it's not real. And immediately I felt this burning rage inside me, but not at him, but at her, because that was a huge, it humiliated me that she thought she could ruin that moment for me by telling me that. And so I just snatched it out of her hand and I said, that was extremely rude, and I left. 10 years later, it fits just fine, so joke's on her, right? But, so I wrap some tape around it. We go to dinner. I show them. We're all happy. We're all celebrating. And then his mom, Amy, sees that I have tape wrapped around it, and she just goes, oh no, it doesn't fit. You'll have to get it resized. And then I tell her, yeah, I already tried that. I just decided it was better to put some tape on it, and, that would do for me. And immediately her face changed, and I knew that she knew that I knew the truth. And I saw her kind of get sad and embarrassed and everything. And I gave her a big hug, and I told her, it really hurt me to see that was her reaction, because of the fact that this was a huge moment for all of us. This was, Fabio and I were about to start our lives together. I was about to become part of this family, and the material of this ring was about to ruin all of that for all of us. And so I gave her a big hug. I explained to her that doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just so excited to be welcomed into this family, and I love you all. And then she tells me the story of when Danny, her husband at the time, proposed to her with this ring. And she said that when they met, they didn't have a whole lot. They had hardly anything. They met in Panama. They were trying to move back to the United States, and they were just walking, and he just stopped, saw this ring, paid for it, put it on her finger, and said, I promise you one day I'm going to get you a nicer ring. And she looked at him and said, why? I don't need a nicer ring, I have you. And that right there is what always rings true to me when I think of love. I don't need anything else, I just need you. And as sweet of a story as that is, if you were to know Danny and Amy, they had a very complicated relationship. There were times that Amy would call us crying, saying, oh, he's so insensitive, he said this, he said that, followed by a phone call from Danny saying, where'd she go, what'd I do this time? So it was a very complicated relationship. And at times, I think they may have thought maybe we should just call it, and we even would tell them sometimes, maybe you two aren't good together anymore, maybe it's time, But evidently there was something there beyond what we could see, because they managed to work it out every single time. And up until the day that he passed away, it became very evident how much she really loved him. And all of that to say that when I look at this ring, I think about the phases that love goes through, and how in the beginning it feels like you don't need much, you just need each other. But then as time goes on, you need a little more, and you need a little more. And sometimes it feels like it's not there anymore. But if you're just patient and you get through that time, you'll find that you're still those simple two people you were in the beginning, that didn't have a whole lot, but had each other, and a $50 ring.
Hey. Just thinking of like a little after effect of the pop-up with Joanna. We was at Fresco Studios. It was interesting. It kind of threw me for a
like a, okay, not a curve, not a loop, but like a, okay. Because, you know, there's no expectations here. You know, the way we move is unorthodox. It's exotic product. So from the get-go, everything is kind of unorthodox. It's expected. It's kind of welcome in a sense. Just none of that too crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like none of that. But she came and she came telling a story. And so it was like, okay. Got to listen to it. And I'm a storyteller. I promote the value in the story. We need to start back storytelling, you know, and their music and all of that, which is a part of why my project, side note, my project is The Scrolls of Exotica, the game's first audiobook, where I'm going to do narration, do like 90% of my project. So big up to the storytellers. Not saying liars and all of that, but as far as putting higher meanings in the form of parables and stories and all of that, we support that, we promote that. That's how our people have done it from the beginning of time. But so, and it also influences and promotes critical thinking and listening. So I'm listening to a story, and I learned some things I didn't know about the homie Fabio's, you know, family life. You know, I'm aware of his Panamanian descent, being from Panama. You know, just hearing some of that, you know, I respect real, authentic love stories. You know what I mean? Sacrifice that was made on behalf of his mother and all of that. You know, that's touching real, raw human needs and stuff. That's what we're looking for. So I extracted that out of the story. I extracted the whole meaning of the ring, the title of it, the $50 ring. How someone told her that it was lack value because of the money value of it, the price of it, and they was like overlooking the sentimental value of something that passed on from a generation to another generation that makes it all the more valuable. You know what I mean? So it's like someone who overlooked the sentimental value of it and all of that, and how beauty is in the eye of the beholder, just as well as value is in the value is seen within the eye of the beholder, or within the heart of the filler or whatever. You know what I mean? So Joanna telling the story, how she held to her value, and she was trying to get she wanted other family members to recognize how much that she respected the tradition of it being passed on, and she held and shared that value, the sentimental value of this $50 ring retail price, but priceless when it comes to real value. Seeing all that, I respect all that, because that's something that I promote as well. So I'm getting all that out of it. So it didn't come in the form of a poem, but real poets know that life is poetic. You know what I mean? The butterfly sitting on the edge of the wood is poetical in the eyes of the beholder. The brick holding the door open in the eyes of a real poet. So welcome all of that. So I dug what Miss Joanna was saying. I accepted the whole experience for value. I got a new look and respect for the homie Fabio, and you know, a little bit of his upbringing and little personal stuff that I don't know if he was comfortable with being but it was all good, man. It was good stuff that the world needs to see, and they need to know more of. Real love stories, you know what I mean? Like, want that to be heard here. So I approve of what she did, the $50 ring, the meaning behind it. This is a part of my interpretation and what I get from it. I appreciate it, accept it for value. Glad she was able to share here on this exotic product channel. What we gonna pop up on next, man? I don't know, but let's keep it moving.